Um, all right. Hello, everyone. My name is Lena. I am the core contributor of Virtuous Protocol, where we're building a society of AI agents. And I'm mostly focusing on the strategic investments in early stage crypto, AI, and robotics companies. I'm very excited to be here to speak at SheFi Seoul Summit because as a woman in the tech industry, I really think that supporting each other really matters. So today I want to talk about something based on my personal experience during my trip in SF in this year. I was trying to I tried to penetrate more into Web 2, AI, and robotics community so that I could potentially invest in them and then build relationship and presence as Virtuous Protocol. And I learned a lot from it. So let's start. So it was very tough for me because I realized that in SF, a lot of founders don't really like crypto, nor the investors. And as a crypto investor, I really have a tough time trying to penetrate from scratch. The first thing I did was I really want to understand the overall landscape of the startup scene in San Francisco. So I visited a lot of major early stage hacker houses like Founders Inc. or The Residency. And two takeaways from there is if you're the first time founding a company, then San Francisco is one of the best cities to start at because they have the most mature infrastructure for founders, including co-living, co-working space, a lot of mentors, lots of fundraising opportunities. But the honest second takeaway is that as an investor, it was very tough to select which teams to actually invest in their hacker houses because the real solid, the really good experienced founders are actually in their own office, in the very stealth mode. So the next step I was focusing on is how should I build a relationship with these really solid people? I don't really want to call it, but there is very strong inner circle in San Francisco. And as a random Asian crypto investor, I tried to figure out how to penetrate that community. And the main tactic that I used was I tried to reach out to my existing relationship, including my portfolio companies who are based in the Bay Area and my friends in AI space, because luckily I used to work in AI very briefly before crypto, and I will be really clear about hey, here's why I'm in SF, and these are the people that I really want to meet. So I tried to be really clear about my objective so that my friends can be more easy, so they can easily help me by connecting to the right people. And not only that, I tried to also, I also tried to help them by connecting the right person that they need as well. So eventually, and then working. Yeah, and then SF people really don't like VCs and they really don't like crypto. So I also had to really iterate how to introduce myself for these people. And I realized, okay, for crypto, I firstly didn't really speak about crypto. Instead, I would introduce myself as an investor. And then when there's a chance where I had to introduce about crypto, I would actually talk about the real blockchain usage, use cases as an example, stablecoins as a payment, or how we use these stablecoins as the agent payment rails, so that it really makes sense for them to understand. Yeah, and the reason why founders don't really like VCs in San Francisco is that a lot of VCs try to be really value extracted. They would just ask, hey, we're very interested in funding your project, and then they will drag the decision for months, and at the end they will just say, hey, we decided not to invest, and a lot of founders get frustrated. So what I did was I really genuinely was very curious about what the founder is working on, and then whenever there is a investment discussion, I try to make the whole process really fast so that no one is wasting their time. Yeah, so that was what I did. And then at the end of the trip, I think I met around 250 people to 300 people, invested in like 5 projects. So yes, I would say it was a bit fruitful compared to when I first started the trip. So what's actually happening on the ground? There were a lot of takeaways, but mainly 7 things I want to talk about. First is, if you think of SF as like the hub for AI consumer apps, I'm sorry. SF is actually more for the B2B AI SaaS or AI infrastructure projects. So like these are the companies like actually with actual revenue, maybe a bit unsexy, the ones that actually survive and ones that get funded. So it was very interesting that a lot of top tier VCs will also focusing on investing like B2Bs or infrastructure projects, and they will not really care about consumer, which was very like surprising to me. And a lot of AI infrastructures like memory, context layers, or developer toolings, a lot of harnesses, or a lot of open source projects. And what's very interesting is that because everyone in SF is building a startup and they all know each other, they end up being each other's customer because they're building B2B. Yeah. The second is I could really feel that AI is already replacing people, not just like at the big tech companies, but also at the like a small startups. Especially I try to fire all the engineers so that they get replaced by AIs. But there are still a lot of demands in the UX engineers. Like what I mean by UX engineers are engineers who also have additional skill sets in designs and and product management. Yes. And because the teams are very lean, founders themselves try to, you know, do themselves as a growth engine. So that's why you see a lot of SF founders working on like launching our video content or making a viral content on social medias. The third is when anyone can build anything, what actually differentiates a startup? And more, especially this year, the vibe coding has emerged a lot, and it's very easy for everyone to build whatever they want. And you don't necessarily need VC money to get started anymore. So, like for example, Medvi, like they're just 2 people starting a company. They generate a lot of revenues. So, what do founders need for VCs for? And honestly, like as an investor, I've been thinking about this for a long time, and my answer was that VCs should also focusing on what additional value they can give to the founders, not just for the capital. And a lot of VCs and big tech companies were focusing on distribution channel. What I mean by that is, for example, like OpenAI acquired TVPN and Aces and Z built a new team called New Media, where it's like a marketing agency for the portfolio companies, so that could create a video content or social content, becoming like a media channel for them. And you can also see the same pattern in open source projects. I was very surprised that like open source projects don't really generate revenue, but they still get a lot of like funding from major VCs or accelerator programs. And I've been thinking, why is this happening? And then and I figured out it's all about distribution channel. So you just gather all your community, and then you can convert to actually monetization. So there's like a company called Cluely that's a pretty extreme example, but what they did with distribution was like generally impressive, and I could see that that's like a new playbook among startups. And the fourth thing is very obvious, but AI and robotics are obviously very different worlds, very different communities. For example, in terms of founders' perspective, AI is very saturated. So every day you can see several teams launching like almost similar projects. And then like one VC will invest in like several different teams building similar things. Compared to that, a lot of robotics companies, there's a very few robotics companies because it's still early stage. Mostly those founders are on the researchers or engineers from the very big tech companies. On the investor side, I do see a lot of investors investing in AIs, but they really just bet on the team. Whereas VCs start to focus a lot on robotics because it is less saturated than AIs. And in terms of geographical parts, AI founders are mostly into San Francisco, whereas a lot of robotics companies are more on the South Bay, like Palo Alto, Sunnyvale, or such. And both are actually watching China closely, and they're really aware of the China because China is really fast, and they have really good quality with and is very cheap. The fifth is every founder I met is building with the fear that the big tech companies like Anthropic or OpenAI will ship the same thing tomorrow. Yeah, so you invest months in building something, and those teams, Anthropic or OpenAI, shift the same capability like in few days. But the most impressive thing is still investors invest in those companies, and then the founders still keep building. And I was like thinking, why? And what's like the playbook to make them like being invested and then keep surviving this market? But everyone is scared, but no one is stopping. So I will say that the teams who are surviving, who can be successful, is the ones who can survive in this fast changes, who can really pivot really fast, deliver fast, generate revenue fast, and then really change it to the next narrative without like being tired. Yes. Last but not least, SF energy is very vibrant, very addictive. Every day you will see all these demo days, hackathons, all these like developer meetups. Like if you go like on the street, you will see like all these major top 2 investors, founders, companies. But I will tell to everyone that don't be satisfied the fact that you're in SF. You still have to be focused on the fundamental thing, which is building your own or like building your own product. Like don't get drunk on the vibe and the noise. Yeah. So, yeah. Other than that, other things that I felt from SF, like if you go to every street, you will see all the billboards are all about AIs, and you can see all the Waymos like running on the street, and it's like a normal thing. And then everything is super expensive. And then since we are all mostly women, like funny thing about SF is the ratio between like men and women are very insane. So if you want to find a potential boyfriend, maybe SF can be an interesting place to figure out. And this is very serious. I did not do it. A lot of people told me that if you're a female investor, why don't you use Hinge or dating app to find a potential like founders to invest in? I did not do it, but I did actually see some of my female friends using it, and it actually worked. So the decision is all yours. Okay, so some takeaways. So what should we actually take away from all these? 4 takeaways I just want to highlight. And the first is the only way to earn trust in the new world is to be genuinely helpful first. So I try to build my credibility, and I try to be friendly to the new Web2 friends. And what I actually focus on is really listen to what they're working on, what they have conviction on, and then I will always end the conversation with, so what's the biggest pain point that you're facing? Is there anything that I can help? So that not only I just learn and gain insight from them, they will feel that I try to be helpful, I can add value to them, so we can keep the sustainable relationship. The second takeaway is in the vibe coding era, team and distribution beat product. Okay, I had to fix that sentence because the prerequisite for that is you need to build a really good product. But even though you have a really good product, the team and distribution is like the most important thing. And the third is, yeah, don't get lost in the noise. Find your intersection and go deep. I'm saying this in terms of the individual career perspective. Like I saw a lot of, like one of the most impressive thing in SF is one of the city where it has the most intense talent pool. And some cool friends that I remember is there's a lot of people who are from Ivy League, from a lot of like major big tech companies, but they will just give up everything and just start their own company because they have a strong conviction of what they're believing, and like, that is like very amazing. And the other thing I remember is there is a friend called Richard. He is like 18-year-old working as a full-time in ACCD. How he developed his career is that he was a professional photographer and a video editor since he was in middle school. And by leveraging his skills, he started helping startups, actually in crypto startups, to create a video content, like a launching content. And then one of the partners at ACCZ realized, and then when he was forming an ACCZ new media team, he hired Richard. So that's like one case. Another case is that this is actually a founder of my portfolio company. So he was an influencer as a gaming streamer since middle school. And then since he was a content creator himself, he has all this, based on his knowledge, he founded an influencer agency when he was like 17 or 18, and it got acquired, and now he's building a second company. So the point is that I was very impressed that everyone is trying to find the intersection of their interest and their strength and what the market needs and develop their own career from there. So that was like the most impressive takeaway as a Korean, because like mostly we try to really follow the standard of the society. Yes. And the last but not least, this might be the most practical one. Building your own AI agents is no longer optional. After watching hundreds of teams operating, I could see the pattern was clear. The people who move fastest aren't just using AI tools, they're building custom agents for their own workflows, like not only one, for like multiples, and they orchestrate it. I want to throw a question to everyone. What do you think makes someone valuable at a company? Like, what justifies a high salary? Anyone? Who do you think gets the highest salary among the company?
The people who bring in the money.
Okay, I have an answer in my mind, but okay, that's a good answer. Sorry, I cannot hear.
Thank you. A leader who can allocate the person in a proper position, like according to their talent, and evaluating their cascade of how to deal the issues and allocating the people in the right position.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Yes, one more. I would say everything like is right, but based on this narrative, I think the person who gets the higher salary is mostly on the higher management level, who really controls a lot more like team members under them, and it's how much one person can scale is my answer. So like how much can you output as an individual? Like how much impact can you create as one person compared to other people? And I think AI agents are the biggest multiplier we'd ever had for individual scale, like ever. And I think it's like building your own AI agent is like having a skill to use Excel when working in a company. Like 20 years ago, you had to really learn how to, like it's like a requirement. Like if you don't know how to use Excel, then you cannot work in a company. So I think it's like same nowadays. More and more people will require, like if you don't know how to build your own customized AI agents in your work, then maybe it may be much more harder to work in a company and scale up yourself. So it's, I think building your own AI agent is becoming the same baseline expectation as having learning how to use Excel. Yeah, and so I guess I don't have much time. So a few basic tips about how to start building your AI agents. One is build one agent, simple agent at a time. Pick a task you repeat constantly and automate it, and then build several simple agents, and then try to orchestrate it later. And number two is actually most important. Like try to review on a regular basis as you review like your team members as a manager, and then fire the agents that don't deliver at the end. So treat them like team members. So like if one isn't producing results, try to give them a proper feedback, and if it doesn't really, improve, then replace it with the better one. Yeah. So yeah. It maybe not be structured, but this is what I experienced and learned, and some takeaways from my SF trip. So I think we're in the biggest shift in how works get done with AIs. It's very chaotic, but let's be AI native. Let's scale ourselves, and let's navigate this together. Thank you so much.
Thank you. All right.